Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Admiral Pegasus, this is the Pegasus Show, and on today's show we are going to be grading January 2024 Enterprise Part 1. And basically what we're going to cover is the officers, the new Delphic Expanse, the events, communication and stability. But we are going to be doing it in a new way for 2024. Instead of grading every individual section, I'm just going to give an overall grade, but I'm going to go through the patch notes and say my opinion on whether I think it's been good or bad. But before all of that, if you'd like to know when I'm releasing videos or going live, please subscribe to the channel. So, Enterprise Part 1, January 2024. Yeah, okay, let's kick off the year with the last IP of the old Trek. Now, I'm not saying original, because we'll probably end up with a debate about what was the original. So we'll go with old Trek. Now, this was around the early noughties when it was released on TV, so it makes sense that they actually drop it after Voyager, because technically it was after Voyager chronologically. And if you have actually noticed, when it comes to the IP dropping in the game, with the old Trek, yes, old Trek, they did actually drop TNG, DS9, Voyager, now Enterprise. Yes, TOS was chucked in there after TNG, but was it after TNG? I think it was, but yeah, they did chuck it in there. So basically what we got then is we got the Delphic Expanse. New section of space given to us, which starts with the level 34 systems and goes up into these level 40 system, culminating, that's the word, with the level 62 system right at the top here. For further information on the Xindi, I would do recommend that you check out the Xindi video. But just as a quick overview, basically, it was part of the X-Borg faction expansion. Which the X-Borg faction begins at Ops 38. And what they did is they gave us a load of new hostiles to go after. And yeah, these hostiles really kick ass. Now, if we actually select a hostile, they introduced us to a ship with 3 specific abilities. The first one is their weapons being able to pass straight through your shields and deliver straight damage to the hull. Obviously, standard mitigation does work as normal. Next up is an ability which can pretty much render your critical damage to 0. Again, check out the video, there is screenshots there. And then finally the Xindi weaponry, which is a particle beam, which is called a go-home gun, as we now call it. Basically, what this does, it fires a 100 billion shot blast, and this is so powerful, not even a G6 Epic level 90 can withstand it. It fires 6 shots every single round. Now, there were ways around this one, we'll cover that in just a second. But that's what we were given. And also as part of it, we were given these new Xindi scraps which we needed to collect, which ultimately formed a loop. Yes. Now, overall, I'm not too happy with an extra grind in the game. Because the Monovine, which you can see so far is out actually passively grinding, is auto grinding. And yes, of course, we're at war, so somebody's probably going to pop it at some point. I've managed to do 1 full run so far. But adding an extra loop into the game, adding more time to players actually being in the game, was not something that we was promised. We was promised in the roadmap a quality over quantity. Well, to me, adding an extra loop is not quality, that's actually less quality. But to make it even worse, it was advertised as a 5-minute loop. They told the NDA content creators it's a 5-minute loop. Now, yes, when you finally get into the loop, it does become a 5 minutes. You can get it done in 5 minutes. I can bring my Newton out here with the correct crew. I'll do 2 runs at this to get my minimum pull. My minimum. Now, there is a way for me to actually do it in 1 hull, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm still about just under 2 weeks out from actually doing the doing the 5-minute run. However, at the minute, it's not a 5-minute run. No, it takes me 2 runs. So what Scopely should have said when they advertised this to the NDAs was, to begin with, it's a loop you're going to have to work into, but eventually, once you get to a specific point within the loop, it becomes a 5-minute loop. Now, how does it become that 5-minute loop? Is we'll have to jump into the faction store. This was the X-Borg faction store. Now, for those of you who remember the original, it started here with like the Botany Bay, Mantis, Defiant, Meridian, Talios, and the Stellar. So you could all go in there and it would just literally help you do those loops and just cut some time out of that. Additionally added in was the Fisher, the Monavine, and Voyager efficiency. Again, increasing the efficiency on those and basically saving you some time. So if we're looking here at Voyager, basically I'm going to get some exotic toxins and some relics. Now if I did it for a... Guaranteed that's not a single day's pull for me. Not a single day. But here we go. This is what I get. Those exotic toxins is not even a 2-chest pull. It's not even a 2-chest pull. But I'll take the relics because that's nearly 5 days. That's nearly 5 days worth of relics for me. So, yeah, there you go. Not exactly a full day. Cheers, Scopely. Still got to go do some grinding, but at least I don't have to do it all the time. So then obviously, like I say, you got Fisher and Monafine added in there. But as well, we were given a whole load of new favours. Primarily, the biggest favour that you wanted to go for to begin with was going to be this one, which would basically stop that go-home gun until at least once you've maxed it out. Yeah, once you've maxed it out, round 7. But that still does not add it to a 5-minute loop, does it? No, it doesn't. The only way you could get down to a 5-minute loop, realistically, is this particular favour here, getting this maxed out, having a max cargo crew run, and max loot to go out and actually do it. I'm literally 1 level away. Once I've got that level 5, that's it. I will be able to do it in 1 run, smashing the level 42s. If I went after the 40s, yes, I can do it in one hull, but again, that's going to be pretty close to how I want to do it. How quick I'm going to get it done. Now, what do I say is a 5-minute loop? If we jump back up here, we've got the Cindy Scrap, which is taking the loot. Yes, this is a quick overview. And here you go, that's my daily pull. I've got to get that per day. Yes, eventually I'll be able to get, I can get that in 5 minutes, eventually. So, but here's a standard pull. Yay, wow, okay. Now, they did do some tinkering because these costs were a hell of a lot worse to begin with. So kudos to Scopely for doing that. But again, it's still not perfect. Now, there are other favors in here which do have a tremendous amount of value. Most notably, the ones that actually repair your ship while you're in combat. So emergency combat repairs. Basically, you've got a set for PvE and you've got a set for PvP as well. Another thing as well added in with the favors was this critical floor damage. This works with PvE and PvP. So if your critical damage is being zeroed out, this will give you the opportunity to get some of it back. And there was a prime to go with it as well, which was a flat 100%. This free-to-play version starts off at 10%, but does top out at level 5 with 100%. So basically, restoring at least your primary standard damage. That's about it. So don't expect too much off of this one. It's alright, but it's not exactly perfect. So, another contention with this as well is when Scopely made the adjustments, they actually stated they wanted players to hit around the levels that they're hitting. Well, if I'm going to contain this within a 5-minute loop, I need to be hitting the 40s in the 41 system or the 42. The 44 is definitely going to be two hulls. At the minute, 42 is 2 hulls, unless I find the wanted version, which contains higher amounts of scraps, which is brilliant. So basically, it's like the old Borg systems. Fine. But if I was to hit in the systems that's around my level, which I'm Ops 47, currently just waiting for the materials to do 48, I should be hitting the 46 or the 48 systems. Am I hitting in there? No. Because the 46 system, I can only just manage one ship, and then I've got to go home for repairs. Then come back hit another one. Yes, I'm getting over 600 of the loot. So how many ones is that taking me? Yeah, 4 runs to do it. If I'm really lucky, 3. If I find that wanted, I'll probably do it in 1 run. But, and if I try the 48s, Jesus Christ, I don't stand a chance. It doesn't matter what crew I put on my Newton, my most powerful ship. Not a cat and mouse chance. So, but yeah. So ultimately, Xbox Faction Store, big thumbs up. Absolutely. There's even Voyager sourcing in there. Absolutely beats the... I'm hoping, touch wood, I'm hoping it beats the hell out of the doing those rare formation armadas and going through the artifact store and doing it that way and getting the pathetic little pulls that you do. So, but unfortunately, it's locked behind a reputation level, so unfortunately, I can't get in there. Also, I forgot to quickly mention, if it comes straight up, hopefully it will. Come on. Ooh, here we go. These particular boxes, I absolutely like the idea of this. Love the idea of trading down. So basically what it is, I can take the higher level credits, because we was introduced to new versions of credits, so in this case the epics, and I can trade down. So if I did the one chest here with the 315 epics, I can get 355 rare credits out there. So basically topping up my rare credits. And I could keep going down. I could do the rares into uncommons and eventually put it back to the original, which is the uncommons into the original common credits that we were given. As you can see, I've actually got enough to do 2 chests here. Wow. But again, the cost is pretty steep. As it goes up, it just does that rather than a straight line. So ultimately, Faction Store, big thumbs up. Can't complain too much. But the Zindi itself, sadly, no. Because it's adding another grind to the game. It's not 5 minutes as it was advertised. Like I said, if they did put that caveat in place, it wouldn't have been too bad. Sadly, they didn't put that caveat in place. Okay, so next up on the list is going to be officers, and first up we've got the rare T'Pol. As you can see, I've not been able to unlock it this month. I'm literally 9 shards short. I'm not 100% convinced there was actually a free-to-play path to actually source her. If you are a free-to-play player and you did not spend a single penny, and you got her via various other means, please drop it in the comment section down below. Let me know how you managed to get her, because I've obviously missed something. Now, the only thing I can think of, maybe there was a couple of events that I looked at and thought, yeah, I'm not doing them because I ain't got the stuff to do them, which was the Q Trials ones, upgrading forbidden technology. So I didn't have this stuff to do it. I did for 1 run, and I got, I think, about 5 shards in total. So why this rare was extremely difficult to source, I do not know, because one thing, if anything, there should be at least 1 rare that we're able to source in every single month. So, thanks Scopely, we didn't even get this one. However, the officer itself is, well, yeah, okay. Ore mining speed, yeah, fine, added to my ore miner. The only thing I can actually find a bit more value in is this particular one. Tops out at 350%, this protected cargo. Ore mining tops out at 200% increase to space speed, so really basically only shaving about like a minute or 2 off my mining. That's about it. Over 5-6 hours, that's nothing. Absolutely nothing. So to me, that ability, the ore mining is the ability. This one has more value in it. Like I say, maxing out 350%. Yeah, absolutely. But give me a second crew, and obviously that 350% is better than T'Pring, because she tops out at 300. Being a rare protected cargo for an officer's ability. So now basically all they've done basically is just moved the captain's ability into the below deck position. That's all they've pretty much done here. Next up was Trip Tucker. As you can see, I did manage to source him this month, and to be honest, I found him a hell of a lot easier to source this month. He was sourced through various SMSs during the month, and other methods, including the battle pass, missions, events. So able to source him out, and I'm already 24 shards into going towards tier 2. Chances are it's going to be a lot better when I get him up into when the faction store, the event store rolls around, and I'll be able to get some more shards for him if I don't find any more in the meantime. But anyway, let's have a quick look at his abilities. Again, he's a below deck. It's nothing to shout out about, in all honesty. This ability, now, for those of you who joined the live stream on Saturday, Lube dropped in on the stage and gave us a quick explanation. Now, Lube had a theory about this ability, and I'm in agreement that this was primarily aimed at the Zindi because they are pretty strong. So being able to reduce their critical damage to 0 is very effective. Now, it also works against players, but again, tier 1, probably not very effective, although the maths that we went through quickly, just to explain him, it was just for the explanation, shows that he's got a hell of a lot of potential, especially when he's maxed. This ability does max out at 250%, so absolutely, yeah, I can see this being one hell of a fantastic officer when he's maxed out. Now, the below deck ability. This was a little bit, well, why are we adding this one? I do have a theory, and we mentioned it in the live stream. Increasing loot from 8472 and the Herogen. Okay, right? Fantastic ability. Absolutely smashing. Can't complain. I do love that ability. I did a whole video based on that ability, to be perfectly blunt. 150% top out. Again, cracking. Can't complain. But the NX-01 is a pre-Federation starship. 8472 and the Herogen was encountered by a Federation starship. Not just a Starfleet vessel, not a United Earth Space Agency starship, which is pretty much what Enterprise NX-01 is. The Herogen and 8472 was encountered by a pure Federation starship, the USS Voyager. So it makes absolutely no sense why this ability is here. But we're going to take it. Because and this is how I think the conversation went at Scopely. It was like, hey George, I've got Trip Tucker here. I need an extra ability for him. Well, what are you thinking? Well, to be honest, mate, I ain't really got a clue. I'll tell you what, why not give him a throwaway ability? I'll tell you what, Bob, George, that's a fantastic idea. Bob, I totally screwed that script up there, didn't I? I just totally screwed it up. But basically, it's a throwaway ability. That's the way I see it. This was a throwaway ability. This was a gimme to the players, saying, look, we couldn't really think of anything. Here you go. So I hope that was a little bit entertaining, even though I screwed it up. Couldn't even get my script right. It wasn't written out. It was just off the top of my head. So, but anyway, so absolute kudos to this. Now, officers overall, are they anything to shout out about? No, in all honesty, they're not. The only thing I could find that was actually of any good was to pause officer's ability and Trip's below deck. Put them both together. Jesus Christ, you've got an officer that you really have to decide on where to put them. So, yeah, officers, okay, so they're not exactly ones you're going to be rushing out for. Although I would recommend, if you have had the ability, or when the faction store comes, done it again. The event store comes around and Trip is in there, I would highly recommend getting him. Depending on if you're an active miner, T'Pol would also be a good officer if you so wished. So that's the officers. Now I mentioned the prime that we also got as well. So let's jump on to the next thing on the patch notes. So next up this month we was given this as well, where we had odd events dropping the Galactic Recruit tokens. And basically what you were getting here was pretty much half the officers that was dropped in 2023. Yes, you've got the Voyager set, you've got pick officers, and you've got the Borg officers. Now, let's put these into the timeline where they were dropped. Hugh Gallinar was dropped in January 2023. Dizok, Gosa, and the Borg Queen was dropped in February. Picard, Crusher was dropped in March. Dixon Hill, Worf, and Riker was dropped in April. And then from May onwards, we had the Voyager crew. So that's what we were given. The pull in here is not particularly too bad. You get 5 shards. It is a single shard of each single officer. So it was just something a little extra. Not exactly, yay! It was like, alright, cheers. I've done all this for, what, this? But luckily those events did come with Syndicate XP, so that was a big thumbs up. So moving over to the events, I won't edit this bit out because it shouldn't take too long to get there, all being well. Okay, it took a little bit longer than planned, but the events we were given this month were, yeah, pretty standard. Let's go with the worst ones to start with. Multi-phasic Hunter. Yeah, that's a spenders event because guarantee any free-to-play player would not stand a cat and mouse chance on that. Because you pretty much only get like 5 every 7 days if you're doing your mission key pull from the recruit section. Now, as you can see, 2,715, that's 3 mission keys, and 2,700 is also for the battle pass the $20 battle pass that I bought, because you obviously get 2,700 in that. So that allowed me to at least do the bottom milestone where I got 1 Hemner shard. Not an event ideally that I'd be looking at, but like I said, it was a spenders event overall. Then you had heroic research events, again another spender. Battle cube SMS, again this is another spenders event. It's basically going out getting this refit and getting the number of shards. It's like, you're asking me to pay $100 to get this. Yeah, fine, I'm going to get whatever's in that pack just to get 5 Janeway 5 B'Elanna. Really? And you had a full month to do these, by the way, what I've mentioned so far. A full month. Come on, Scopely, throw us a freaking bone, will ya? So, I mean, at least 10 shards would probably be something. But then again, I'm a tight-ass bastard. I want more. So, anyway, this also returned as well. The Borg Cube, basically going out critical damage against various hostiles with various ships. Basically getting some more stuff to upgrade your Borg Cube and do some of the research that came with it. Also great to see Turf Wars also return. Sadly, the only one I can show you is this one, which is mining Isogen and returning it back to your base to score. Brilliant. Like the idea, rather than just mining, pull your miner off and you scored. Get it back to your base because anybody could kill you in that time. Obviously, they can't kill you while you're traveling at warp, but they could be waiting just outside your base to take it all off you. But anyway, so you've got all that. Also, Disco PvP was back, so great to see that back. I do enjoy Disco PvP. However, as a point, I would say for servers that are not very active in PvP, it's not a very good thing. I mean, they're constantly running around looking for those bloody scavenger layers, for God's sake. So ideally, I'd probably say that if they really wanted to actually encourage some PvP with this one, is add the Disco PvP to the beta systems during territory takeover. Make it specific. Give it a bit more specific, and maybe stick it in incursions. Stick it in incursions during territory takeover, and then you've got a lot more PvP action going on in territory, and aim it at one particular server. So, like for the upcoming incursions, which is going to be the 2nd of February, we're up against 154, I believe, because that's what I saw from the XSLB. Disco PvP, server 134 in the beta systems during active takeovers. That should encourage a little bit more PvP action, or basically you could just turn around and say PvP altogether in the beta systems. Who's going to stop? Why should we stop 154 from coming to raid our beta systems and interfere with our takeovers? Bring a little bit of fun into the game, wouldn't it? Now, I'm not a big PvP player, but I've got to be in the mood. But when there's an event running for it, like we're going to have with Return of the Mega Cube, I will actually go and do it, but I'll literally do the bare minimum. Critical Flaw, again, a full month. And then this one, Logical Conclusions, again, it's another unlock. Unlock Officer, tier up. It's suspenders, but it is heroic, so the free-to-play should not be really completing that one at all. Mission Key also returned as well. I've already mentioned with the other event, and then obviously the standard complete missions and the overflow. Now, I want to bring this one up because this is an event that I didn't reluctantly enjoy doing, but this was a great way for me to source trip. Now, as you can see on this particular one, this is from weekend 3. I only got to 3rd milestone, but on the previous 2, I got to at least the 5th or 6th milestones. And then coupled with the other shards that I got as well during those first 2 weeks, allowed me to unlock Trip Tucker, allowed me to do that video, show him off in the live stream. But I do believe that this was a great way to do this, because free-to-play, and to be honest, this one, I gave it absolutely no effort whatsoever. It was just a couple of little bits and bobs, and I still managed to gain the first 3 milestones. Now, yes, that's 9 shards altogether. Wow. But the first 4 milestones was easy enough for free-to-play players to complete, even if you wasn't actively trying. As long as you were just basically turning your buildings over for, if you actually timed it right, 3 days, starting at event change on Saturday, finish before event change on Monday, you pretty much had 3 days, depending on where you are in the world, to actually do it. But yeah, free to play, you had the first 4 milestones. Then the top 4 milestones was the heroic side where spenders come in. But if you still had the materials, you could still make a go at it. And I think this was a fantastic way of doing this event. Now, did I miss the SLB that accompanied with it? The answer straight to that is no, I didn't. However, for the final 2 weekends, weekend 2 and weekend 3, they did add an SLB. Weekend 2, they added Janeway. Weekend 3, we've got the X-SLB with Infinite Incursions, basically giving us some extra officers to go after, which was, yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. I can't grumble about that. So, yeah, nice. Fair dues. That's how Scopely make their money, is from leaderboards. But I mean, if you really wanted to try and make money out of people on events, to be honest, double that top one. Just double it. Or then again, if you got servers that could blast in like 40 million points, put 40 million points as a top one. And that, if that doesn't encourage a lot of spending, I don't know what will. So, but Trip Tucker does have value, like I said. He's not exactly a run after, go get officer, but again, it's down to how Scopely put them in. So that's the events. Next up, we had the return of the Wave Defense and the Territory Battle Pass. Wave Defense was plagued with problems, no end, but it was nice to see the fact that they made it so you wasn't actively doing Wave Defense every single day. However, I will point out, these SMSs that are running, as you can see I've got one running right now, were 3 days long. There was 5 versions of them to culminate in the total battle pass for the wave event. So that was nice to actually see. And on the second run, the second event, so days 4 through 6, they added SMSs every single day. So if you actually did it right, or shall we say did it wrong, you literally could be doing wave defenses for 5 straight days. The last day of event SMS 1, 3 days through SMS 2, day 1 of SMS 3, 5 straight days. So now the SMSs were killing the hostiles in wave defense, so it probably necessitated you running like 2 or 3, but these again were only literally complete 5 waves. That was it. Complete 5 waves, and you got 20,000 of this, which basically gave you 4 milestones on the battle pass. Yep, absolutely, I'll take that any day. Are we going to see any more iterations of this? I really do not know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it just meant you weren't heavily burdened with wave defense, so that was absolutely nice. Territory Season Pass come back with that just basically sit there for 30 minutes to an hour just to gain points. And in here, okay, fine, we've got some Enterprise E officers, but again, it's nothing to shout home about. Absolutely. Some Syndicate XP, yeah. Oh, thanks. Where's that one? Okay, so that happened, didn't it? Scopely obviously didn't like me criticising, so they crashed my game for me and blamed it on my internet connection. To be perfectly fair, it's not my connection because the Fire Stick we have connected up to our internet constantly crashing, but yet everything else still works off the internet very, very well. So, thanks Scopely, appreciated. I think I'm going to downgrade you even worse for that now. But anyway, that brings us around to communication stability anyway, brings us around nicely. So, just to finish off with the events, okay, yeah, it was a reasonable calendar for me. Did me events, that was it. That's all I can say. But it was nice to see that they were paying out various different rewards through the month as well. So, communication. Not particularly too bad this month. When there was major issues, they did communicate. Communicating the various different things up, and the use of actually using the in-game news was a little bit more active. But then again, the one thing is they need to submit this information to the various clients like Apple, Google and all that for approval in all the various different languages. So this is not a very well used system. They could really use a new system for that. So yeah, but it was nice to see this was actually used. Other than that, Discord wasn't particularly too bad, but there wasn't really that much to complain about in regards to stability. Now, I'm not going to say that stability was an A on this one, by no means. However, stability was a bit better. It was a bit better, and if I was grading stability, I'd be grading it a bit more of a C this month. Now, the reason I say C for that one, and yes, I will grade it that, is because, to be honest, I didn't experience as many crashes. It wasn't easy. Wave defense was an absolute nightmare. If I've got a screenshot of what happened between jumping from roaming G5 space and my territory, I'll put it up here, but I'll explain what happened. I was grinding and then I jumped over to territory to do something. I can't remember what it was. And territory was absolutely rammed with red dots. Red hostiles 50 plus. And shock horror, there was also some other players in there that shouldn't have been. I couldn't select them, but as I figured it out, they were the ones mining in that G5 system. So that was a nice visual bug. There have been other bugs where we've had duplicates on in the Xbox faction store. We've seen them recently. Wave defense was no cakewalk. There was one. I started it, got one hostile, and then I was stuck. Managed to move my ships at the end of the first wave to find one hostile attacking one of our players for around 2 minutes. So I knew something had gone wrong. By the time I actually managed to reset the game and figure out something had gone wrong, we were starting wave 6. Yeah. I missed 5 whole waves with one hostile kill right at the beginning. Thanks to it. I was not a happy bunny. But everyone's been complaining about lag. Obviously, because we are at war, we decided to go into our enemy's territory while they're doing an active takeover and have a little bout with them. But again, a lot of our players were complaining about lag on that one, so they pretty much stopped. And due to the time it was for me, it was basically time to sort the kids out ready for bed. So I did what I could in between sorting out medications and all that for them. So stability wasn't the best, but it was certainly a lot better than what we saw at the back end of 2023. So I definitely can say stability has gone up. Communication wasn't perfect again, but it still was good. So overall for the arc, can't say it's flying colours, not by a long shot. So ultimately, Enterprise Part 1, I'm going to grade it as a C. Overall, I think it was a C. It wasn't something to write home about. It was okay-ish. So yeah, I mean, take it as you will. But anyway, that's my opinion on the arc. Let me know what yours is in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like the video if you found it informative or enjoyed the video just generally. But it does help the analytics of the video and help push it out further. Don't forget to share with your alliance as well if you should want to. Also, if you do want to become a member of the channel, the join button for memberships is also available. Until then, that is it. I'm Admiral Pegasus, this is the Pegasus Show. This is January 2024 Enterprise Part 1. Graded C. Stay safe, live long and prosper, and I shall catch you on the next video. Goodbye.